Hello, good morning, good afternoon, welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Nicolas de Coignac. Nicolas is the President of the Americas and the CEO of the hydrogen business in the US for John Cockerill. John Cockerill, as I'm sure most of you will know, is a very old, established, 200 years old engineering business. I think it's over €1 billion revenue, and it is been one of the sort of first movers, as it were, in hydrogen, with a lot of hydrogen technology that it acquired out of China over 5 years ago, and is making large strides in the hydrogen industry. So welcome, Nicolas. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Nadim. Very pleased to be with you.
You're obviously going to be speaking next week at World Hydrogen North America. Indeed, John Cockerill is our Diamond sponsor. So maybe could you give us a little bit of your sort of overview around your view on hydrogen, some of the work that John Cockerill is doing?
Sure, with pleasure. Thanks for this opportunity. So, for me, I'm discovering, I'm in this business, in the hydrogen business, and in John Cockerill for a little bit more than a year and a half, and coming from the other side of the fence, from the oil and gas business prior to this. And what is amazing in this hydrogen world is how much activity there is in a technology and a world that is pretty well known. I'm not talking about the gray hydrogen, but more the green hydrogen. There is so much happening right now, and we went from a period of great enthusiasm until a few months ago to a period right now of skepticism and doubt, and I think both are exaggerated. We all know that the path and the growth potential for hydrogen is absolutely amazing. It's one of the most promising energy carrier for the future, the foreseeable future. So what I see today is probably a business that is largely immature. A lot of things have to be designed. We are lacking norms and standards. Technologies are evolving. Usages are evolving. We're discovering also potential new ones. The regulation is permanently changing. So it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of opportunities to capture. And I think what's difficult today is that there has been a lot of projects that were contemplated, but very few of them have reached the final investment decision today. There are a lot of players that are able to bring technologies at different stage of readiness. And so what we see today is that we have to prime the pump of those large projects just to establish our industry. And we are in this period of lack of decisions. Are everyone looking at what are the right decisions to be made and what are the right projects to be launched?
Yeah, indeed, and this is going to take time to build this industry, and certainly some of the I guess the initial enthusiasm is met with reality around the way the technology readiness and the ability to put all the technology together and get it financed. And I guess you mentioned technology readiness, and I guess married with that is risk. What are your thoughts around risk? Is there enough appetite, I think, to shoulder that risk, or how do we mitigate risk in the industry and get more projects across the FID line?
Well, that's an excellent question, and I think that all those nascent industries at the scales we're contemplating, because here it's not about putting a couple of electrolyzers somewhere. We're creating a brand new industry with a scale that is gigantic, and we have to create the right supply chain. We have to create the right partnerships. We're currently working on this. We have announced already partnerships with Technip Energies, creating a joint venture called Rely. We will announce others pretty soon. And this is all means to reduce the risks for the whole project. But we are confronted to those risks because the way we intend to use those electrolyzers in the future is significantly different than what we've been doing for decades. As far as John Cockerill is concerned, we have been producing electrolyzers for nearly 30 years. We have delivered over 1,300 of those electrolyzers that are currently running, facing challenges, and we learn every day from those challenges. And it's because we're using them in new environment with more renewable energy, meaning more intermittency. So the systems themselves are more challenged, and we discover new ways of overcoming, let's say, those new usages. So about risk, back to your point, it's really about creating those partnerships and be able and accept to share the risks among the different stakeholders in a project. And we believe that this is really critical to launch really the industry at scale. We can do this with selected projects. Anyhow, we cannot have too many of those projects at one time. The capacity is not there, and not specifically for us, for the whole industry. So it's about taking the right risk with the right players, because it's not about, and you will hear this during my presentation, but I have a couple of other colleagues that will be talking about the same points during the event. But the risk, and I hear this a lot, that how bankable is your company? Is what kind of guarantees, performance guarantees do you offer? My point is that we offer those guarantees for now centuries. We have been building nuclear power plants, steel plants, galvanizing lines, all those critical equipments where you have to be behind your equipment. But beyond liquidated damages or whatever financial guarantee that you can give, if you have a guarantee, a financial guarantee, it's good. But your equipment, if it's not running, it's not running. So you have to choose the partners that are able to overcome the situation and make your plant, your hydrogen production plant, work, whatever it takes. And this, only very few suppliers can do this for electrolyzer, but maybe for other equipment too. So it's all about partnering with the right people to prime the pump of this large scale industry.
Yeah. And in terms of, I guess, taking risks in supply chain, that's something, clearly that John Cockerill is doing with your investment in building the Gigafactory, in terms of that considerable investment that you're putting in. Can you tell us a little bit about that? When's it due to be finished, and what is the sort of scale of your project or your factory? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, again, a great question. So first, as you did mention, we have officially not really broken ground, but ribbon cutting our new plant in the US, in Texas, back in November. And I say not groundbreaking because it's a brownfield. So we bought a land that has already all the bones. It has the buildings, it has the cranes, it has the infrastructure, it has the railway that comes directly on our site, access to barge. So our plant is ready. We're currently ordering the equipment to have the plant up and running by late this year, early next year. So we'll be able to have our first electrolyzer go through the gate early next year. But the fact is that we're also leveraging our sister companies. We are commissioning a plant currently in France and in Belgium. We're breaking ground in India for another gigafactory, and we have of course our legacy plant in China that is up and running and delivering equipment. So it means that from day one we're able to bring some of the components from these different plants and make sure it's also part of de-risking a project, be able to start producing, manufacturing, and assembling in our plant in the US, in Texas.
Yeah.
And we're, in parallel to this, making a huge effort in creating a network of suppliers for many of the key and critical components out of North America. There too, finding the right partnerships with people that do have either existing capacity for some of the components. It can be pieces of steel, engineered membranes, electrodes, power components, whatever this is. And with them, engage early enough so that they have the scale of capacity that matches the ambition of our gigafactory in the US. And this is also a program where you have to have partnership, also not only with your customers, but also with your suppliers.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned I guess the wave of enthusiasm, and now I guess the sort of hard reality, and I guess from what you're saying, it's about the serious players are now beginning to find each other and partner. And actually, it's the projects that are going forward now are going to be the good quality projects with the good quality companies involved who are taking it seriously and building those projects. Is that how you see it? I guess a sort of flight to quality and the cream rising amongst what was quite I guess a lot of noise, a lot of hype, as it were.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that now, if I focus a little bit more specifically on the United States, is IRA a year and a half ago or nearly 2 years ago created a lot of momentum, and everyone that had a project around renewable energy says, oh, that's also an opportunity to invest into green hydrogen and things like this. So we've had hundreds of projects, nearly with no need to do any kind of marketing. Our sales team were flooded with requests for quotation and things like this, which was way too much because anyhow the industry could not afford building so much capacity at once. Then came the guidance from the IRS about how will IRA apply, and then this came like a cold shower to everyone and screened the number of projects, which is good, because then you go on the stronger, more robust project. So that's a first screening, and then comes who are the players that are ready to put some risk into this, and we're happy to partner in risk taking. And what we're seeing also is that a lot of the projects that were gigawatts or 600 megawatts or whatever, now usually the promoters or the developers are saying, let's go with the first tranche of 100 or 200 megawatt, or sometimes a bit less, and let's ramp up and scale it from there. Yeah. And I think this is extremely reasonable. It's a lot of wisdom behind this. Yeah. I think this will help, back to my point on supply chain, this will help priming the pump, building the right capacity at the right place, and select the best players who are nimble enough, agile enough to be able to resize, let's say, their project and be able to take it to the next level of ambition once the pump is primed.
Yeah, and it's about the right stepping stones and proving the technology at the right scale, so then it can then replicate, and I guess around a sort of a modular approach, and you get things to work on one module, as it were, and then it's more replicable, and you're avoiding I guess a folk doom loop in terms of always creating a first of a kind. It's trying to build that modularity into the industry that can then scale. So you need to get the engineering right at that modular level and not seek to, I guess, replicate, I guess, some of the errors of nuclear where everything is built first of a kind, as in FOAK, and you're not getting that scalability. I mean, is that how you see it? And in terms of your specific approach, you're building most of your electrolyzers, as I understand it, around a 5 megawatt platform. Is that correct? You see that as a sweet spot?
Yes, that's correct. We've been also testing grounds, and the fact that we are in the business for more than 30 years, help us we have a wide array of sizes of electrolyzers that ranges from 100 kilowatt to 6.5 megawatt. And what specifically we are targeting at John Cockerill are more utility scale or industry scale hydrogen plants. There are a lot of other needs for smaller scale, 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt. And this is probably other technologies are maybe best suited for this. We're targeting the large ones. And for those large ones, yes, we are convinced, and this is not only us, it's by listening to our customers, to the engineering firms and many of the large projects in the world, that 5 megawatt pressurized alkaline among the different technologies, but pressurized alkaline 5 megawatt 15 bars is probably the sweet spot. And so this is where we have our current offering. So that's the minimum, or the one stack, one electrolyzer. But then we can offer systems where you'll have a package of either one stack with all its balance of stacks, so the power supply, the separation unit, and the purification, or by a system of 4 electrolyzer, meaning 20 megawatt, or 6, meaning 30 megawatt. Typically for North America, we're offering a system of 30 megawatt, where we have one joint separation unit for 6 electrolyzers.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's very clear. As I mentioned, you're going to be speaking at World Hydrogen North America next week in Houston, 1st to 23rd of May. And we thank you for your support of the event, and it's great working with the John Cockerill team, and we look forward to seeing your projects rise with success and seeing you help build the industry. And so yeah, many thanks, Nicola, for taking the time out of your schedule today to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Nadim, and thank you for putting such events together. I think they're instrumental for the growth of our business.
Yeah, excellent. Well, many thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.